Most people try to run from their fears, but they don't realize those fears are actually their advantage. Thanatophobia. Everyone fears death, but this fear isn't a weakness. Nah, it's the oldest survival software your brain has ever installed. The fear of death makes you sharper, more cautious, able to avoid risks the reckless never notice. It forces you to live with intention because you know time isn't infinite. You choose what matters. You love deeper, you appreciate every moment. And this fear makes you grow internally, pushing you to ask, how do I want to live before the clock runs out? So maybe people who fear death actually live longer, simply because they dodge everything that could take them out early? Trypophobia. You're scared of clusters of tiny holes. But what you fear isn't the holes themselves. You fear the signals your brain once marked as signs of disease and danger. In nature, repeating hole patterns appear on infected skin, toxic fungi, parasites, and decaying tissue. Your ancestors survived by staying far away from anything that looked like that. Today, your brain still remembers, which is why you shiver, feel uneasy, or even get nauseous. Not because you're weak, but because your nervous system is warning you. Don't touch something that might make you sick. But here's the twist. People with trypophobia can spot abnormalities way faster than the average person. They notice when something is off in a photo, a meal, or the tiniest detail others overlook. Their danger radar is so sensitive it almost feels automatic. And let's be honest, trypophobia people can watch horror movies without blinking, but show them a honeycomb and suddenly they're ready to cry, right? Acrophobia. You're afraid of heights, but what you actually fear isn't the height itself. You fear losing control when you're standing in front of something that could end you in 1 second. And here's the hidden advantage almost no one talks about. People with acrophobia have exceptional environmental awareness. They read terrain, angles, slippery surfaces, and fall risk long before anyone else notices. They're not reckless, but they're safe. And be honest, if you've ever stood on a mountain and your legs started shaking like your phone on vibrate mode, go ahead and confirm it. Zoophobia, you're afraid of animals. But what you fear isn't the animal itself. You fear the unpredictability, the claws, the sounds, the sudden movements, the things you can't control. Your ancestors survived by staying alert to anything that could bite, sting, scratch, or spread disease. Your brain inherited that instinct. So when a dog runs toward you, your body instantly switches into defense mode. You flinch, step back, your heart spikes. Not weakness. That's your survival radar doing its job. Here's the interesting part. People with zoophobia have an extremely sharp ability to read movement. They pick up speed, distance, angles, and tiny sounds in zero point 0.1 seconds. They can predict behavior from animals and even from humans. And fun fact, anyone with zoophobia can dodge a bee in 0.01 seconds. Faster than they dodge a work email on a Monday morning. Claustrophobia. You're afraid of tight spaces, but what you fear isn't the wall. You fear the feeling of being trapped with no way out. In the past, a narrow, enclosed place meant danger. So today, your body reacts like an emergency alarm. Your heart races, your breath shortens, your mind spirals. Hidden advantage? People with claustrophobia have an incredible instinct for identifying escape routes. They know where the door is, where the exit is, and which direction is safest. In an emergency, they react 3 seconds faster than the average person, a survival navigation instinct most people don't have. Phasmophobia. You're afraid of ghosts, but what you actually fear isn't the ghost. You fear what you can't see, can't explain, and can't control. One tiny noise, one faint shadow, one sudden draft of air, and your brain instantly switches into a full survival scan. People with phasmophobia are unusually good at detecting micro-changes. Tiny sounds, temperature shifts, strange vibes in a room. They sense danger seconds before anyone else, including danger that comes from other people. Metathesiophobia. You're afraid of change, but what you actually fear isn't the new. You fear losing the sense of control your brain has relied on for years. The brain follows a simple survival rule. What's familiar equals safe. What's unfamiliar equals investigate. So even the smallest shift, a new job, a new home, a new relationship, triggers an internal alarm. Your heart speeds up, worry rises, thoughts spin. It's not weakness. It's your brain trying to keep you inside a world it can predict. The hidden advantage? People who fear change are incredibly fast at spotting risks. They can predict gaps, difficult transitions, and potential failure points before anyone else. They don't change early, but when they change correctly. And fun fact, someone who panics over moving houses can somehow stay perfectly calm when life throws them a Hollywood-level plot twist. Atychiphobia. You're afraid of failure, but what you actually fear isn't the mistake. You fear being judged, falling behind, being seen as not good enough. For your ancestors, failure once meant being pushed out of the group. Today, that instinct shows up as preparation. You plan harder, check deeper, and stay sharper than 90% of people around you. Those who fear failure aren't great at winning fast. They're great at winning long. They see cracks before errors happen. They focus, stay careful, and refuse to do anything halfway. They don't avoid challenges. They just want to make sure they never repeat the failures they've witnessed. That's why so many people who fear failure end up achieving more than anyone expects. And fun fact, people with atychiphobia imagine 100 worst-case scenarios and still act shocked when everything goes perfectly fine. In conclusion, the fears you think are weaknesses are actually survival systems refined over thousands of years. They give you instinct, awareness, intuition, and a way of reading the world that most people don't have. You're not broken. Your brain is protecting you in ways smarter than you realize. If you want me to break down more fears, drop a comment. Hit like if you learned something new, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode of this series.